jam-packed with key intel and special reports. Coming up, we're going to air a very important report. What Ted Cruz and his Obama report missed. It was a great report he put out exposing how Obama's becoming a flaming tyrant. But there's some stuff he missed. So Jakari Jackson's going to be breaking that down. Also, Leanne McAdoo did a report on vampirism, Satanism, the occult, the hate of humans, zombieism, all this culture of death, death, death that's being pushed by the death merchants. That's all coming up. Because, see, if you don't have a seared conscience, if you care about people, if you have empathy, you won't go along with this cold, scientific, anti-human, totally unfair, oppressive New World Order. So that is coming up as well. And we're also going to look at a story titled Brain Chips that was filed last week by our own Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs, because I happen to, where is it here in my stack, have several articles here dealing with this science fiction nightmare system coming true, and former head of DARPA calling for brain chips in the population. Here it is, I found the stack. Ex-DARPA director and Google exec pushing microchipping for human beings. Here's another one out of Defense One. Now the military is going to build robots that have morals. And another one, I'll tie these together. Intensive mobile phone users at higher risk of brain cancer, study finds. London Guardian. How does all that tie together into the story by Joe Biggs, DARPA pushing brain chips? That is coming up, and a lot more in this second hour of the Sunday Worldwide broadcast. Again, the news sites are Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com. Follow us on Twitter at Real Alex Jones. Just because you know about the New World Order and all the stuff that's going on, don't expect your friends, family, and neighbors do. A lot of them are past the laughing phase, so even though you tried to wake them up a few years ago and they didn't listen, now may be the time to try to reach out to people yet again. So that's coming up as well. And then we're going to look at a week of news where people like Joe Biden's son have been appointed to the board of Ukraine's largest gas producer. And, well, Biden says, hey, that's just my son. I have nothing to do with it. Doesn't matter that through the State Department, they just overthrew the country and handed it over to his son. That's okay, but it's raising a lot of eyebrows out there across the board. We'll look at other areas where the economy is being seized control of. And, well, over $5 billion and counting for Obamacare website. That's right, $5 billion. Who believes a website costs $5 billion? This is nothing but like a Solyndra scam to their political fundraisers and their buddies that are looting the daylights out of this country because they have the moral high ground. They're the progressives. They're the liberals. While you got to raise taxes on the middle class, or you hate old people, or you hate immigrants. Meanwhile, all these ultra-rich are sucking at the teats, as they say, of the federal government and the private run-for-profit Federal Reserve. So all this and more coming up today on this live Sunday, well, original Sunday. It's not actually live. I get so used to saying live. Most times it is live. And I start believing it's live and say it's live. Most Sundays it is live. But today, the key word is original. See, the only time I lie is when I have a slip of the tongue, where my brain gets something wrong. But it's still a lie. It's false information. That's an intellectual question. When you're wrong, are you lying? Even though you're not consciously wrong, in a way, it's not true. This is an original transmission in the second hour that is coming up, ladies and gentlemen. So stay with us. We'll be right back in T-minus 60 seconds. Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his two-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. You are a programmable guy that goes and watches Olympus Is Falling and believes all this and really thinks you're a hero. G.I. Joe, great American hero. Yo, Joe. You don't work for Joe. Joe got taken over. The G.I. Joe command base is run by Cobra. You understand that? And I use a child analogy to get through to you because that's your main programming template in North America. Cobra. They're on record with that. That was all Pentagon directed. No. You understand? You work for Cobra. You dress like Cobra. You have the tactics of Cobra. You are Cobra. Hail Cobra. You want to be little boys? Or do you want to really join the Republic?
They know what's going on at the Bundy Ranch, and they won't even let a police information officer give us any information. That's a bunch of bull.
It's all these stupid G.I. Joe movies and stuff where the White House is attacked. The White House is run by Cobra.
When I went through the process of becoming press secretary, one of the first things they told me was, you're not even to acknowledge the drone program. You're not even to discuss that it exists.
It's run by chaos. It's run by Spectre.
Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge, Extortion.
They run little kids. They run the snuff films. They run the drugs. They run it all. And because you act like a bunch of naive chumps, this whole thing's going to come down on us.
Very much concerns me, considering that they have all this bulk ammunition that they're shooting targets of children.
Would you like to tell me who it is that is doing this?
It is the Department of Homeland Security, sir.
Oh, thank you for calling.
He called Homeland Security. Every police officer in this country, to every FBI agent, to every Secret Service agent, you work for Spectre. You work for Chaos. You work for Cobra. Unarmed citizen. How do they get power? They stage a terror attack using Spectre, using Cobra. Who is Cobra? Arms dealing, drug dealing, money laundering group wearing masks. They wear masks, ladies and gentlemen, because they're the corporate CEOs. And they're manipulating the governments against each other. Cobra runs the Muslims. Cobra runs the CIA. Cobra runs it all. The radical Muslims. Cobra is real. You can call it whatever you want. Cobra is in control of America. And Cobra says the veterans and the gun owners, they're saying that we're the bad guys.
These people who hold themselves out to be patriots are not. They're nothing more than domestic terrorists.
That's right. That's what Cobra would say. Cobra. That's what Spectre would say.
Go f*** yourself. Comment, sir. Thank you.
That's what Goldfinger would say, because that's who those people are. I am Supreme Cobra Commander. You call your petty bureaucrats, officials, and authorities. You will kneel before Cobra or face my wrath.
Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God.
Oh, yeah.
It's Alex Jones.
You pathetic little worm. How dare you call me Mr. Cobra? Well, it's Mr. Cobra, Alex Jones. Thank you for joining us. A new intro that Jakari Jackson put together. It's good on radio, but even more powerful on the video feeds at prisonplanet.tv. Again, thank you for joining us on this worldwide Sunday original transmission, the 18th day of May 2014. Now, we're going to go to a piece that our very own Jakari Jackson, host of InfoWars Nightly News, weeknights at 7, put together what Ted Cruz's Obama report missed. Well, Ted Cruz got into a lot of it, but he didn't bring up stuff like $5 billion and counting for the Obamacare website. That's like a Solyndra payoff to his political buddies and a bunch of former White House officials that run the website. Oh, yeah, $5 billion for a website. That's impeachable right there because it's the people that work for him. I mean, this is just happening out in the open. Or what about Joe Biden's son after the West overthrew the Ukrainian government, taking over the gas company there? Or what about Obama releasing last week 36,000 illegal aliens who had violent crime records, aggravated assault, felons, rapists, child rapists, bank robbers? This is the lawlessness. And look, If the Republicans are in power doing stuff like this, I'll be against them. But I've never seen anything like what's happening with the Obamanoids. It's a serious, serious, serious situation. So here is that report breaking down what Ted Cruz missed in his report on Herr Obama. Then we'll be back after the break with a ton of news that I haven't even gotten to yet. Stay with us.
Senator Ted Cruz of Texas has released a report detailing the abuses by the Obama administration. The list is well compiled and includes things like misguiding the press on Benghazi, as well as ordering Boeing to fire 1,000 employees in South Carolina. As good as the report is, here are 10 items that it doesn't include. Number 10, the White House ignoring petitions they encourage citizens to file. Now, there are petitions that request the building of a functioning Death Star, but those are contrasted by very practical requests to label GMOs. Number 9, wasteful spending surrounding the affectionately labeled Obama phone program.
I have another one in my pocket, too.
Baltimore City resident Monique Crawford has plenty of cell phones.
I have about like 6 in my purse now.
And a few more at home.
Each and every one of these phones work. At home, I know I have about 30, and all of them are on.
But how did she manage to amass such a cellular jackpot?
How long did it take you to get all these phones?
5-10 minutes to get this one just now, and I walked out with this one just now.
Well, partly thanks to you. That's because anyone who pays a cell phone bill also subsidizes the phones filling up Monique's purse, courtesy of a charge buried in your monthly bill called a universal access fee.
Number 8, denying a Christian family's request for asylum while granting driver's licenses to undocumented California workers who can sneak past Border Patrol. Number 7, refusing to debate climate change while intentionally bankrupting the coal industry.
So if somebody wants to build a coal-powered plant, they can. It's just that it will bankrupt them because they're going to be charged a huge sum.
And energy prices double.
Greenhouse gas.
Bankrupting America.
Number 6, the half-baked so-called investigation into the murder of SEAL Team 6.
If your son was killed, Mr. Jones, and they gave you a book with no ink, I was with my mom yesterday. She said, they're lucky Grandpa ain't alive. He'd be going right through the front doors of that White House to Obama. You know, we need some answers here. Somebody has to be held accountable. I just don't want to hear it was a bad plan, lucky shot, all that bull. I need somebody to go to jail. This is murder. This is murder, Mr. Jones. My son knew in June somebody was setting him up, but he didn't think somebody on his own side.
Number 5, blaming Assad for chemical weapons attacks when there is video evidence of Syrian rebels carrying out at least one attack.
Yesterday, the United States presented a powerful case that the Syrian government was responsible for this attack on its own people.
You got a business. You didn't build that.
Our intelligence shows the Assad regime and its forces preparing to use chemical weapons, launching rockets in the highly populated suburbs of Damascus, and acknowledging that a chemical weapons attack took place.
Number 4, never shutting down Guantanamo Bay, where human rights violations continue to take place.
I have said repeatedly that I intend to close Guantanamo, and I will follow through on that. I've said repeatedly that America doesn't torture, and I'm going to make sure that we don't torture. Those are part and parcel of an effort to regain America's moral stature in the world.
Number 3, telling his former press secretary to act as if the drone program never existed.
When I went through the process of becoming press secretary, one of the first things they told me was, you're not even to acknowledge the drone program. You're not even to discuss that it exists.
Wow.
And so I would get a question like that, and literally I couldn't tell you what Major asked, because once I figured out it was about the drone program, I realized I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Number 2, blatantly targeting the Second Amendment.
What I'm trying to do is to get a broader conversation about how do we reduce the violence generally. Part of it is seeing if we can get an assault weapons ban reintroduced, but part of it is also looking at other sources of the violence. Because frankly, in my hometown of Chicago, there's an awful lot of violence, and they're not using AK-47s, they're using cheap handguns.
And number 1, lying to America's face.
If you've got health care already, then you can keep your plan if you are satisfied with it. If you like the plan you have, you can keep it. I intend to keep this promise. If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan. You like your plan and your doctor, you can keep them. You'll be able to keep your health care plan. If you like your plan,